What an incredible finish we had 3 days ago at the Michigan International Speedway, where we saw Daniel Paulus Jr. split Duncan Ward and Ludovic Charette on the last lap of the race to go 3 wide for the race victory at Michigan. Well, we're here 3 days later. We'll see if we replicate something like that here tonight at the World Wide Technology Raceway. It's our first midweek race in the Cup Series since 2020 at Hillside, where we saw Shane Lake go after it against Trey Bartow and Nathan Baird. We're shaping up for a wild night here for our 19th race of the season. Only 4 races remain until the chase cutoff here in the Wawa Cup Series, and that chase cutoff is incredibly tight going into this race here tonight. It's the AAA Missouri 300 here from Gateway. Only 4 races remain until the chase cutoff. How will it go down here tonight on this 1.25 mile racetrack in Madison, Illinois? Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway, the Gateway Motorsports Park. Worldwide Technology does not pay me any money to say that, so we're going to call it Gateway throughout the rest of the night. And this is the AAA Missouri 300, one of the more interesting races we get each year. This is a very technical racetrack here at Gateway, and you have to have a very good car through the corners in order to get the race victory. But it's hard to get those passes made even when you have a slightly better race car on the guy ahead of you, so track position is going to mean quite a bit. And Matt, well, we saw what happened at Michigan and how GRT has dominated the past few races. You guys at GRT got 3 of your drivers starting top 6 here tonight. You feel like those guys are going to have a good opportunity here in this AAA Missouri 300 to get a midweek race win here at Gateway?
Well, I think you said that the last time we had a weeknight cup race, the 15 car won. So, I mean, I think the opportunity is definitely there. It'll be a good race. I mean, there are some big guns here up front, and Gateway is one of the more interesting racetracks we go to. But if Phoenix was any indication, North Wilkesboro, it should be a very good fight here at the front of this field tonight.
And of course, Jack Haas got the win at Phoenix. Kirsten Bell got the win at North Wilkesboro, and Evans Ross Racing has had the upper hand on these short tracks up to this point in the season, though I say that Daniel Paulus Jr. got the win in Martinsville. Little did we know at that point in the season that he would go on to win 4 races, 18 races in. He's got an opportunity at breaking the record for the most wins in the Wawa Cup Series set by both Blaine Keys and Drew Webb in the past 2 seasons. But also got Caleb Rose alongside us, and Caleb, you're kind of on the other end of the spectrum here when it comes to this chase battle. Logan Williams had a tire go down in Michigan on Saturday, and he ended up finishing in the 41st position. He's 1 point behind the chase cutoff coming into the race that he won here last year. What does he need to do, and what does Nicholas need to do to put themselves in a better position going into these last 3 races before the chase cutoff?
A really unfortunate run at the Michigan International Speedway to kind of put ourselves in this position, but got to give props to both Williams and San Mateo. They got step 1 done already. They both have pretty good starting positions. Logan up there inside the top 5, and San Mateo over just there right outside the top 10. So I definitely have a good opportunity at maybe fighting up here towards the front. But yeah, like you said, this is a very technical racetrack, and going to be really interesting to see if they can maybe stay up here and go at it for this race win. But historically, this track has been pretty plentiful to us, so we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. But really looking forward to seeing how this race will go down.
And it's going to be a fun one here. Only 60 laps, but it is going to still take us a little while. About a 34 second lap here at Gateway, I should say. So even though it's only 1.25 miles, still a bit of a slower racetrack and a chassis-type short track, so only have 3 more of these short track races throughout the rest of the year. We got Richmond and Iowa later on, and that's it for the short tracks. A lot of speedways, and that could definitely play favor to the GRT guys, which is going to give Jack Haas even more motivation to go up front and win this race, because he comes into this race only 3 points behind the chase cutoff. Same with Blaine Keys right there. They're both there trying to find themselves top 10 in the points. They're all trying to chase Ludovic Charette, but that's a hard thing to do at this point. Even though she has not won a race yet this season, 125 points on that chase cutoff. She could easily clinch a chase spot at the end of the night, and could actually clinch the regular season title this Saturday at Montreal for her home race. That would be a huge deal if she could do that. Isaac Nichols got the win in Nashville. about 10 days ago, 52 points ahead of the cutoff. And then Travis Crampton also had an issue at Michigan. The engine went sour, lost a cylinder in that race, and ended up finishing in the 40th position. Well, he's going to be 51 points ahead of that chase cutoff coming into this race, tied with last week's winner 3 days ago, Daniel Paulus Jr., also 51 points ahead. Duncan Ward had a great run in Michigan as well. He's 50 points ahead. And they got Laura Chung, Kirsten Bell. They're both 34 points ahead in their respective positions. Nathan Smith is 13 points ahead. And then Alex Amantali, who had a tire go bad at Michigan, he had an issue. He's 1 point ahead of the cutoff. And same with Tanner Parton, who actually bumped his way in at Michigan on Saturday. 1 point ahead of that chase cutoff coming into this one. Logan Williams is 1 point behind, but he won this race last year. Starts fourth here tonight. Blaine Keys, Jack Haas, both 3 points behind, and then Avery Alford, 23 behind. Bryce Egan, 36 behind. In terms of drivers making it into the top 10 outright, I feel like Jack Haas and above are going to be the drivers who have that opportunity. But the wild card race, Jack still has a good advantage over there, 42 points ahead of the cutoff. And Andrew Miller, with that win he got at Rockingham, is 7 points ahead. Thomas Troxel trying to jump Miller in this race, though Troxel does not have a good starting position, and Miller does. He starts in the 6th position, while Troxel starts all the way back in the mid-20s for this race. But hey, if Nicholas Samedeo or Blaine Keys get that win, well, Blaine would jump into the top 10, but Samedeo could very well be a factor in the wildcard race if he gets a race victory. And he almost won here back in 2023. Remember, Drew Webb ended up getting the race victory, passed him on the last lap of the race. It's Jack Haas and Ludovic Charette starting on the front row here at Gateway. Daniel Paulus Jr. and Logan Williams make up row number 2. Nathan Smith and Andrew Miller in row 3. Runner-up last time out, Duncan Ward to the inside of Travis Crampton in row number 4, and then Blaine Keys to the inside of Avery Alford in row 5. There's Nicholas Samedeo to the inside of Isaac Nichols, and how about Nicholas Cameron in the 42? 2 attempts this season and 2 starts to the inside there of Zayden Davison in the 00, who had a great run in Michigan last week, was actually running up there with the GRT guys a majority of that event. There's Kirsten Bell starting 17th here tonight. And then you got Laura Chung a little ways back, same with Thomas Troxel and Alex Amantali with a rather poor start, but that's as far back as our chase contenders go in this one. So we'll have to see how they end up shaking out in this 60-lap race from Gateway. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here in the AAA Missouri 300. Matt and then Caleb, who do you guys think is going to victory lane here tonight in this midweek race in the Wawa Cup Series?
I'll be really bold. And I think Trey Bartow's gonna get his win on a Tuesday night that he lost a few years ago, but he's going to drive through this field tonight, and he's gonna get this win.
Right in the thick of it in the wild card battle, and honestly, he's been on a hot streak here as of late. So I'll take the 86 of Andrew Miller to get it done here at Gateway.
I would have to say it hasn't really been much of a hot streak for Miller as of late, but he's been able to keep that 86 in position to get into that wild card. But he's got to be careful with Thomas Troxel. If he finishes ahead of Troxel and someone like Paulus or Haas or Charette win this race, and that's a good thing for Andrew, but he does not want to see Nicholas Samedeo go to victory lane. That's his rival at this point, which, once you know it, that's the guy he took out in Martinsville, and he tried to make a whole thing out of it. I don't think Nicholas cared too much about that, but maybe in retrospect, if that did happen to Nicholas on that Friday night in Martinsville, he may be in a better position in terms of trying to make the chase. So always look at one race. One race can determine the championship, and that actually was this race 2 years ago. If Nicholas had won here at Gateway 2 years ago, he would have won the 2023 Wawa Cup Series championship. I know you don't like to hear that, Caleb, but every race plays a huge factor, and this race in particular has played a huge factor in the championship before. Well, here we go. It's a Tuesday night. Summer's just starting. We're excited to get this one underway. It's the AAA Missouri 300, and we're underway at the World Wide Technology Raceway at Gateway. And Jack Haas will lead lap number 1 here at Gateway. Daniel Paulus Jr. will be second. And Ludovic Schreck gonna slot her way in third. She wants that win. She's not happy about last week at all. At 32 laps in Michigan. I say last week, it was 3 days ago. She ended up having a great run in that race, and she has a great points lead. 73 points on the field. But we'll have to see how it ends up shaking out for her as she tries to get around Daniel Paulus Jr. I will actually say Jack Haas is actually 2 points behind the cutoff because he does have that point for winning the pole, and now he's got a point for leading a lap. So now he's only 1 point behind coming in, but he's ahead of Tanner Parton, looking to jump his way into the top 10 in the points. Logan Williams is 4th, and then a bit of a gap down to 5th with Duncan Ward. You got Nathan Smith, Nicholas Sambidio on the inside lane. The outside lane did not get going, and Crampton falling back in the 98 machine. He does not want that, as he got Nicholas Cameron battling with him right there.
Nicholas Cameron having a fantastic run here for Racing Motorsports in the 42, sending it on Travis Crampton, who's in a battle for, well, not really a battle anymore for the regular season title, but I mean, it is a lot to be gained here early on in the go, and Nichols is moving up. Nicholas Samadio is moving up, but they are all chasing the front 4. They have pulled away here the 2 GRT affiliates. Jack Haas, Logan Williams, they are going to go to battle here very, very quickly.
And Logan trying to get to the inside of Ludovic Charette. This 95 is wired in very good here tonight. And he just needs a good finish. I mean, the win would be great, but he just needs a good finish to point his way back into the top 10. And I know he is happy to see this racetrack, a place that he has won at before. But how about Paulus? I mean, is anybody going to stop him? Nathan a couple of weeks ago said this might be the summer of Daniel Paulus Jr. Well, so far that has been the case. And he's won every other race so far as well. He got Kansas, Kirsten Bell won North Wilkesboro, then he won Charlotte, and then Isaac Nichols won Nashville, and then he won Michigan. So he's won 3 of the last 5 races this season, looking to get 4 and 6 here tonight. We'll see if he can close in. We've yet to have a back-to-back winner this season in the Wawa Cup Series. And we'll have to see if Paul ends up getting that done here tonight. But I know Ludovic Charette will love to get her first win of the season and extend that massive point lead that she has going into next week's race, or this weekend's race, her home race in Montreal. Going to the inside, though, for second on her pseudo teammate Daniel Paulus Jr. And Ludovic Charette going to have her eyes set on Jack Haas now for this race lead.
Overall, just what a season it has been so far for all the Grattan affiliated cars with Grattan Autosport, Team Velocitar, and Parker Davis Enterprises. I want to believe, I think that every single car has got at least 1 win on the season so far. It's just overall been lights out there.
Ludovic hasn't, Matthew Huber
Ludovic
hasn't either, actually, though. Huber came very close at Martinsville. That was actually good for Jack Haas, able to pull away to a half a second lead there on Ludovic Charette. Daniel Paulus Jr. trying to close in, but it is a very difficult place to make a pass, and Charette was able to make it work on that 54 machine. Maybe Daniel being a little nice to his pseudo teammate there. They're both on the same payroll, essentially. Got Duncan Ward there in 5th. Nathan Smith is 6th. Nicholas Samadio trying to find his way into the 7th position. Blaine Keys trying to point his way in as well. And right now, he's only 3 points behind the cutoff coming into this race. He's much further than 3 positions ahead of Tanner Parton and Alex Vitale at this point. So he also could benefit from a top 10 run here tonight. And he's a guy that we're surprised has not gone to victory lane yet this season. And I think it's going to be harder and harder for him to do so, considering how strong the GRT guys have been up to this point. Daniel Paulus Jr. trying to close back in on his teammate. He may actually have a shot at getting around the 51 machine, but not enough momentum off the exit of the corner. And Duncan Ward trying to reclaim that win that he thought he was going to have last week in Michigan. Up there, just a second off our race leader of Jack Haas.
Yeah, I think the 51 and the 54 are doing a good job so far of not pushing the issue and racing each other too hard. And obviously, I mean, they're basically teammates. They want to beat this 39. But, I mean, we got to give a shout to this 39. Jack Haas, he won at Phoenix. He should have won at North Wilkesboro. If not for the late race shenanigans. He had just a blistering quick car. He was lightning at Kansas. He was lightning at Charlotte. I genuinely think he could have won that race if not for the pit road speeding penalty he got. I know he's on the wild card hunt right now, but when this chase reset hits here and we're going to assume that Jack Haas is going to make it, I don't want to be fighting Jack Haas for this championship.
Blaine Keys there in the 32. Just got around Nicholas Samadio. The 59 lost a position there. Isaac Nichols there, and Andrew Miller holding on to a top 10 run as well. He also could use a good run in this race. Travis Crampton is 11th. Avery Alford is 12th. Kirsten Bell 13th, Matthew Hubert. 14th, Nicholas Cameron. How about Sam Vitale? He's passed quite a few guys up to this point. He got around both Troxel and Laura Chung, and that 61 machine now up to 15th. He's trying to keep that 61 in the top 10, and he would have had a top 10 finish in Michigan on Saturday if it were not for his issue in that race. So this is a guy who's going to have some speed. If he can make the chase, could be a little bit of a sleeper pick. I don't think he would necessarily be able to get up to Charette and Paulus in terms of winning the championship. But Alex Imitali has been impressive here for Andrews Racing, carrying this team like Ludovic Charette did a couple of years ago. Cameron going to fall back once again. You got Philip Torres and Trey Barta both inside the top 20. Bryce Egan and Braden Perez. And then you got Tanner Parton, who bumped his way back into the top 10 in Michigan, but he's going to lose it again. He's all the way down outside the top 20. Laura Chung around the 20th position. Thomas Troxel just has no speed at all. He's 29th right now, and that's exactly what Andrew Miller wants to see coming into this one. And then nobody else is really going to have a shot at making the chase in a position up front. We just had Daniel Paulus Jr. get around Ludovic Charette. We did the same thing in Michigan. Actually, Charette got around Paulus in that race, and we missed that pass for the race lead. Well, we missed it right here for second place. Paulus taking it away, up to the back bumper of Jack Haas, looking for his 5th win of the season.
Definitely think Paulus might have a good shot at that here tonight. Of course, that 54 has been blazing fast here in the past couple of races and is looking fast once again here tonight, all over the back bumper of the 39 of Jack Haas, trying to look for a way around potentially. Coming to lap number 14, there's still nose to tail. Ludovic Charette there, just a couple of car lengths back, looking to catch back up. Williams is kind of settling in there, just a couple of car lengths back from Charette, but here comes the 23 Duncan Moore, maybe looking to try and catch up to him, maybe try and go for that 4th position. But pretty calm here in the early stage of this race. It honestly kind of seems like our top 10 is kind of checked out from the rest of the field.
Yeah, a little bit of a gap right there between Andrew Miller and Avery Alford. Miller's keeping up with these guys, and I think that 86 is a bit better on the short tracks than on the speedway. So Miller's had some good runs. He just had some bad luck, which has put him in this kind of odd position, though. The way it currently runs, he would still have that wild card spot because nobody else is going to be getting a race victory the way it's looking, who has not won a race yet this season outside of Ludovic, but she's not going to be in the wild card battle. And, Brian Webb, Drew Webb, they're too far behind, so... But Troxel having his issue here tonight. Andrew Miller looking to be in a good position. And honestly, with Jack Haas leading this race, Thomas Troxel may actually benefit from the fact that he would win, even though he's finishing all the way back in 30th at the moment. That 62 may end up getting the 2nd spot if all these other guys who get race or who have race victories find themselves in the top 10. As we got more passing Ludovic Charette back to the inside of Paulus, and now Williams to the inside of Paulus for 3rd.
Yeah, I don't think Paulus's car is holding up as well as the 51's is here on this long run. This 95 has a lot of pace, and I mean, he's had a couple of moments this year where he definitely should have won the race and things didn't go his way. He's definitely a guy I could see. One guy, I guess 2 guys, because he's not in the chase right now, but Blaine Keys, that's the first guy to keep an eye on. He's rapidly closing in on this battle, and this would be a great time for him to get a win here tonight. But another guy, we got to give him his credit. Nicholas Samadillo looked dead and out of this a few weeks ago, and it's going to be very hard to point his way in. But he could point his way in. He could also shoot his way up in the wild card. I don't know if he's going to find that win, but he has shown a lot better pace in the 59 this past few weeks.
All he's got to do is make sure the car finishes. And that would have been the case for a majority of the season up to this point, and that has not happened in certain instances. But we'll have to see how the rest of these regular season races end up shaking out. I think the race that we're going to have on Saturday is going to be a huge wild card because we're probably going to see some new faces up front in that one. Heck, Chase Buck won that race last year, and Chase Buck was not doing good in that 32 machine. That might be a good omen for Blaine, trying to get his first win of the season, and you know what? Blaine might have a shot at getting his first win here tonight, but he's going to have to pass Ludovic Charette. Ludovic Charette's going to have to pass Jack Haas. And Paul's actually going to get a run on the 51 machine there for 2nd, closing in on our cycle of pit stops in this race. About a 31-32 lap fuel run just past halfway here tonight. You got Duncan to the inside of Logan. These guys are all jamming up behind this 39 machine right now, but they have not been able to get around them. But only 3.8 seconds separate the top 10 right now. Nathan Smith slipped back in the 06 machine. now behind the 86 of Andrew Miller. And you got Duncan Ward, and there you go. How about Paulus? From third to first again.
Looking to the inside here down the front straightaway, looking for our first lead change on the night. See if he sends it down in turn number 1. Jack Haas is going to miss the bottom. That opens up the door for Paulus, and if he can nail the exit here, and he's going to do just that. He's going to clear Jack Haas for the race lead. Haas slips to second, is now under fire here, potentially from Ludovic Charette. You've also got Logan Williams back there under fire from both Duncan Ward and the 32 of Blaine Keys, who's done a really good job at reeling all these guys in. So now we could potentially have a 6-horse race for this. Not even fan whatever that was.
That would have been bad for both of those drivers, and they're both in a very similar position in this championship battle right now, just on the outside looking in, and neither of them can risk crashing out in another race. And they crash out in more ways than one if that happened. Duncan Ward up to 4th in the 23, trying to get his second win of the season. And of course, Duncan almost got it at Michigan 3 days ago. Overshot the corner right there. Blaine is definitely coming in this 32 machine. That car has a lot of speed in it. Pacific Racing looking for their 3rd win of the season, looking for one of their drivers to make the chase, and maybe both of them. Troxel might benefit from Jack Haas moving up in the standings if this holds up for the 39. But I tell you what, Matt, you know it. This is your driver, and this is a guy 2 years ago didn't even crack top 30 in the points, and now he's one of the hottest drivers in the Wawa Cup Series. I know you're proud of Daniel Paulus Jr. DPJ leading this field here on lap 22.
No, this is, to go from being completely irrelevant to carrying a Trackhouse tractor into the chase to on pace. Folks, he's on pace right now to demolish the single-season win record in the Wawa Cup Series. If he were to win tonight, that's 5 races, and we haven't gotten to the chase yet. But he's just on a roll. But there's still so long to go. This 39, I keep beating the horn every week, is a rocket. The 51, we know she's due for a win. The 23 can win at any time. The 95's got pace. This 32 of Blaine Keys is coming tonight, and I think he's going to be a contender. But so, all things equal, impressive stuff from DPJ, but impressive stuff from a lot of guys around him. And there's still a long way to go in this title fight.
They're all jamming back up for the lead again. As a matter of fact, Jack Haas may have a shot at taking it back away before the cycle. And you got Sam Adio there in 8th. Andrew Miller, Nathan Smith. It's now 3.4 seconds between the top 10. It was 3.8 seconds not too long ago. These guys are having trouble holding on to the race lead and pulling away here at Gateway, which is making for an excellent race here tonight on this Tuesday night. And any of these guys, top 10, can win this race. They're all fast enough to do it. And we'll have to see which one of them does, in fact, get to it. Jack Haas still holding strong there with Paulus. Great run there through turn number 2, trying to get to the inside, but not enough momentum. And Blaine Keys, and if Blaine can get off the cycle in a good manner, find himself right behind the back bumper of somebody for the lead, he could very well win this race here tonight. Finally get his 30th career win on the channel. I feel like that talk's been going for a little while there, as Duncan Ward tries to make a move on Charette for 3rd.
Roll to the corner there by Ward, turning to the inside of Charette, but Charette probably did get the better run off the corner there. Here comes Logan Williams to the inside of the 32 of Blaine Keys, looking to try and take that 5th spot back away. We've seen some excellent racing so far here tonight, up here inside the top 10, and I definitely don't think we're done as we're approaching that cycle of pit stops, and I think that definitely has the opportunity to potentially shake some things up here, but I don't think it might change the fact that we have 10 really fast cars here up towards the front.
I tell you, it's hard to make a pass here, but some of these guys have been able to do it. Blaine Keys going to try to do it here on Duncan Ward, and I think he's going to have the nose of the inside to really get this momentum to go his way. And now it's Blaine Keys and Ludovic Charette together again. We haven't seen them together too much this season, but neither of them have gone the victory lane yet this season. Keep in mind, it was 10 wins in the 30-race season between these two drivers last year. We're 18 races in now, and neither of them have gone the victory lane yet. And Blaine may end up being the first one. But Ludovic's got a fast car as well. She's to the back bumper of Jack Haas for 2nd. She might have a shot at going to the inside here in turn number 1. And Paulus looking to pull away just a little bit. 0.4 of a second now in the field. I tell you what, you do not want Daniel to be out front in any of these races now. He is going to be hard to beat the rest of this season.
Yeah, he's finding a lot of pace in that 54 as these weeks have gone on. I mean, there's been times he could have won more races, but the Tide Ride is slicing and dicing here tonight. Charette on the outside, Keys on the inside, and it's a couple of GRT cars versus the two flagships from the Toyota gang here, and Duncan Ward trying to swing a punch, throw a dunk down here in this fight. Isaac Nichols is really putting in some work here tonight too. So, I mean, but the gap that the top 10 have formed to the rest of the field here tonight is just incredible. Look how far ahead Nathan Smith is from the next guy.
Yeah, that's 5 seconds right there. You got Crampton, Sam Vitale, Kirsten Bell in this group right here. You got Bartow in 17th, Tanner Parton 18th, Laura Chung 19th, Brain Perez in 20th. Troxel has found himself in the 24th position, but you know, he's just thankful that Jack Haas is having a good night, but there's some guys he does not want to get a race victory here because that's going to make it harder for him to make the wild card. And Paul is still with a 0.4 of a second lead right here. We might see some guys peel down right here, maybe try to undercut this thing to have an opportunity at an advantage later on in the race. The tire wear does play a factor here at Gateway. You really depend on those tires going through the corners. Blaine trying to depend on his front bumper on Jack Haas right there. It's going to hold Blaine up, though. Could not make the pass, and Ladova's going to try to take third back away from the 32 machine.
And we're there waiting in the wings. Might have made a bit of contact with Charette going into the corner. Oh, and Drew Webb.
That's not where you want to be. And Ladovic just drove right into him. Oh,
my
no.
goodness.
And Isaac Nichols got caught up in that as well. And they will finally take those cars off the racetrack. But Ladovic is done for the night. And of all people, it was her teammate of Drew Webb. And that's going to change everything here. Tire down on the 18. He stopped right in the middle of the racetrack. And there's going to be a very angry meeting tomorrow morning at Grattan Autosport.
Good grief.
Oh my, there's a
little bit of a buckle on Sam Medeo there. He got a bit of damage in that. And Nichols in the 6 machine, I think he got a pretty solid hit as well. He's down the pit lane to repair it. Oh, brother. All it takes is one mechanical issue to mess everything up here. Well, here we go. Our cycle of pit stops. Right past halfway. They will not need to come back down again after this one. Daniel Paulus Jr. still leading the field. Jack Haas, Blaine Keys, Duncan Ward, Logan Williams, Andrew Miller, Sam Medeo with a little bit of damage. We'll see how long his stop is. Nathan Smith, Alfred, and Crampton both moving to the top 10. And Ladovic is thankful she has that 73-point lead on the field, because otherwise that would not have been pretty. Not good for Isaac Nichols in that situation. Those are first and second in points getting caught up in that one. I tell you can't make this stuff up. Danny Paulus Jr. going to be a 4-tire stop for all these drivers here on the pit lane. I would imagine Paulus is going to probably win this race off, though Jack Haas does have the first pit stall, so we'll see if that gives him an advantage. Blaine is already off in the 32. Paulus is off. And Jack's going to be third. Duncan's going to be fourth. Not much change there, but they are repairing the 59, who got caught up in that. And Nicholas San Medeo.
Oh, no.
That's man. Not going to be the worst case scenario for Nicholas, but that could have been a lot better for him, and he's going to have to work his way through the field. That 59 is fast, but I don't know if he's going to work well through traffic. Ugh. Just don't know. You just never know sometimes. Well, Daniel Paulus Jr. seems to be the driver to beat, but Blaine Keys has a shot at winning this thing here tonight. Jack Haas, Duncan Ward, Logan Williams. That's the top 5. Let's see what happens on the restart after we see what happened to Drew Webb and Ladovic Charette to bring out the first caution of the night here in the AAA Missouri 300 at Gateway. Well, Drew Webb, it has not been a good season for our 2023 champion. Outside of his COTA win earlier in the season, he has been mired back in the field majority of the year, which is a bit unlike the GRT Alliance, and it's definitely been the weakest car of those guys. But what makes this whole situation even worse is that it's going to take out a dominant GRT car. Drew Webb, the tire going bad, and nowhere to go except on the racing surface. And Ludovic Charette in the 51 was trying to make a move on Blaine Keys and did not react in time. And you got to put a little bit on Ludovic for this one, for not avoiding this the way she should have. And that's going to take her out of the race. She's going to finish below the 40th position. Going to lose a ton of points here today. And right there into the rear of Drew Webb. And boy, Stewart is not going to be happy with that one at all, because then Isaac Nichols getting caught up. And then right there, Nicholas Samedeo getting a piece of that one. Logan Williams and Andrew Miller. But that was the extent of the contact in this accident. But Nichols is going to be out of that one. Hard hit on the 6 machine. And Nicholas is going to slip back a little bit as well in the 59. And we'll see if that affects anybody else. But such a tough break there for Ludovic Charette. But like I said, it's a good thing she had that 73-point lead coming into this race, because she will, of course, still be the points leader going into Montreal, where I know she is hoping she gets her first win of the season at her home racetrack.
Drew Webb here, unfortunately, as a tire go down here going into turn number 1, and unfortunately not going to be able to get the car back around. Going to come to a stop on the racing surface, and at 51 of Ludovic Charette going to come along here in just a moment. On the inside, nowhere really to go, and just plows into teammate Drew Webb, and nowhere for any of these guys behind to go. Isaac Nichols, Samedeo, Williams, and Andrew Miller all getting caught up in that as well, and no faults of their own. Really tough break there for everybody involved, especially the 3 that are going to be knocked out of the race from this one, including Drew Webb, Ludovic Charette, and Isaac Nichols. Definitely not the runs that they would have liked here tonight, but NR giveth and NR taketh away sometimes, and unfortunately it's going to take away from Grattan Autosport tonight.
Well, not all the way, because Daniel Paulus Jr. is still your race leader. And you know he's got a fast car, so let's see what he does on the restart here in the AAA Missouri 300 from Gateway. We are back here at the World Wide Technology Raceway at Gateway, and oh boy, riveting scenes here, especially at the Grattan Autosport camp. Ludovic Charette, oh, that's bad. That's just bad. That's all 3 GRT cars right there. Isaac Nichols getting caught up in that one as well. He had a great run going for him. That's not good for Isaac, because, you know, even though he does have a couple of wins, that's going to send him back in the points. And then Drew Webb, of course, who's had a very tough season here in the Wawa Cup Series, taking out his teammate and pseudo-teammate in that. Oh my goodness. But it's still a GRT car leading with Daniel Paulus Jr. in the 54. All sunshine and rainbows there at Team Velocitar, because you guys are 1st and 8th right now, with Paulus leading the field. Blaine Keys, Jack Haas, Duncan Ward, Logan Williams, Andrew Miller, Avery Alford, Matthew Hubert is 8th. Nathan Smith, Alex Samitali's in the top 10. I tell you what, I'm impressed with this, and if he can get this top 10 to go his way, he deserves to be in the chase, because he has been running very well in the 61 machine. And he's avoided a lot of trouble outside of Michigan a couple days ago. He's avoided a lot of trouble this season. Crampton, Bell, Barto de Oliveira, Tanner Pardon, Laura Chung, that's the top 16 right now. Here at Gateway, Nicholas Samedeo is down in the 21st position after repairing damage from the accident, but he is still in the race, and we got some 3-wide action going on. Crampton trying to make it there on Sam Vitale and Nathan Smith. And there goes Hubert for 7th. You know, you said something to me, Matt. You think Hubert might have a shot at winning this race. Well, he's going to get one position right there. Here comes Duncan Ward for 3rd on Jack Haas.
Yeah, Duncan Ward. They can smell that the 51 and the 6 are out of the... And the 59 are out of contention now. Those were 3 very fast cars here, and it's DPJ all by him, lonesome at the front. Ward to the inside of Haas. Haas can't get going on these restarts once again, and Hubris to the inside, trying to go to the inside of Alfred. Oh, Nathan Smith, I think, put the bumper to the back of the 15.
Definitely got dicey right there. Some great racing in the back of the field right now. Actually, 3 wide back in there even further. Haley Anderson Jr. and Troxel. It seems like that 92 in these races, where she's qualified her way in, has run better than Troxel. It makes you think. Even though Troxel's won twice this season, only one of 3 drivers with multiple wins on the year. How about Duncan Ward to the inside of Blaine Keys now for 2nd? This 23 machine might have something for Daniel Paulus Jr. if he can get around this 32. Blaine just doesn't quite have the speed right now, but Duncan's going to try to get that nose to the inside. But I tell you what, Daniel's got a really quick car once again, and he's pulling away even more than he was before that caution came out.
Is trying to pull away here, looking for his 5th win on the year. Duncan Ward looking to try and get by the 32 of Keys. He might have something for Paulus Jr., but he's got to get around Blaine Keys first. And although he pulled up to the back bumper of him pretty easily, it's one thing to catch, a different thing to pass. And Duncan Ward, though, trying to make as quick of a work as he can on the 32 of Keys. You got Jack Haas there settling in 4th, Williams settling in 5th. Avery Alford in the 13 has had a good go since the restart. They're going to now make their way potentially up here in the top 5.
Yeah, look at this 13 machine of Avery Alford. This is a guy about 20 or so points off that cutoff. 23 points off the cutoff, to be exact, coming into this race. You know, Team Williams looking very strong right now. Both of their guys top 5, and they're trying to get that owner's title. NS Racing lost that owner's points lead to Parker Davis. Will Isaac's out of the race. Nathan Smith is behind both of the Williams cars. Now look at this back here. How about Trey Bartow? Your pick to win, Matt. Looking to crack the top 10. He's doing a good job here tonight. To the inside of Crampton, to the inside of Laura Chung. And Bartow is another guy, if he were to get a win, would be a part of that wild card race and have a shot at making the chase. He would still need to win, though. Maybe this Saturday in Montreal could be a shot for him. As you got Alford now on Jack Haas. And this 13 is quick, and Duncan's quick. Oh, boy. Duncan Ward remembers what happened 3 days ago. He does not want to let that 54 beat him again. How about Sam Vitale getting loose off the exit there with Hubert behind him? And the 61 there in the 9th position right now. Such a great run for this Andrews Racing machine. And then, like I said, this reminds me so much of what Ladovic did in this ride 2 years ago. As Logan slipping back just a little bit right there. He got around. He got passed by both Andrew Miller and Nathan Smith. And he's really slipping back, going to lose 3 spots in 1 lap.
Yeah, part of me thinks Logan Williams might have had some damage from that accident. Not a lot, but he's definitely not had any pace on this restart. As you can see by the Delta, he's really holding these cars up. Laura Chung almost took Crampton and Williams 3 wide. And Laura Chung, quick shout out to her. I mean, she's drove through the field here today. Is not in a terrible points position, but is definitely not in a luxurious points position like, say, Ladovic Charette is. But and here comes Bartow to the inside of Huber. He'll have a shot on Crampton. There's so much good racing here for a track that is tough to pass. Oh boy, here we go.
Here we go. And Duncan Ward going to take it away from Daniel Paulus Jr. for the race lead here at Gateway. Looking for his 2nd win of the season, and that brought Blaine right in the mix as well. I know Blaine absolutely wants his 30th career win on the channel here tonight and have a shot at making it into the chase. Duncan Ward, though, looking to take 2nd in the standings. And the way they're running right now, he would be 2nd in the point standings and actually be pretty close to Ladovic, because Ladovic going to finish 41st here tonight. That 23 may actually have an opportunity, dare I say it, at winning the regular season title if he wins this race here tonight. Bit of a stretch, but if something like that happens to Ladovic again in these next 3 races, which, as much as I hate to say it, is very possible, you'll be looking at Duncan Ward getting that regular season title. We'll see if that ends up being the case. Paulus is not going to let Duncan have this one easy, though. And the 54 trying to reel him back in. Keys lost a little bit of time right there, and then a little ways back to Avery Alford, who, keep in mind, was 8 seconds off the race lead before the caution came out. Now he's up to 4th and only 2 seconds behind our race leader.
Tell you what, I don't know what adjustments they might have made under that pit cycle, but Team Williams is absolutely dialed in right now. Ward to the race lead. Alford all the way up to 4th, and that 13 might have enough speed. Potentially maybe run our top 3 down. We'll have to see. Logan Williams in the 95, I think he might have maybe picked up a little bit of damage in that accident, but seems to be affecting him a little bit as he continues to maybe slip back here, as got passed there by Matthew Hubert. Trey Bartow tried to get to the inside of him. Wasn't quite able to get there, but Logan at this point is trying to hang on for dear life of that 95. Probably trying to salvage whatever he can.
Nathan Smith now in the top 5, getting around Jack Haas. Great run for Nathan Smith, who's trying to keep himself in the top 10 in points. And really, the only 2 GRT cars who have not had issues tonight have been Paulus and Smith. And Paulus still very much in contention to win this race here tonight. Trying to get a run to the inside of Duncan Ward, but that 23 is one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. But still, 15 laps to go here in the AAA Missouri 300, and that's a long 15 laps at a racetrack such as this one. lot can happen between now and the finish, and who knows, we could still end up with another caution in this race. Got Travis Crampton holding on to a top 10 run. Good run for him here tonight, but Sam Vitale's up to 7th. I tell you what, that is such a great run for Sam Vitale, moving his way through the field after a poor qualifying effort. And that's been the story for Sam Vitale all season. He has not qualified well at all in these races, but he has raced very well and has found himself in these positions when it matters most. Lord Chung there to the inside of Andrew Miller. They battle there for that 8th position. And then you got Matthew Hubert just outside looking in there. That is for the 10th position right now between Hubert and Miller. Still a good run for all those guys in the back, and the great racing between all these drivers who are all, well, maybe except for Hubert, unfortunately, all chase hopefuls here in this season of the Wawa Cup Series. Hey, watch out for Avery Alford in this championship battle as well. Tanner Parton's really the one guy who's not had a good run in this race, and even he benefited from that wreck happening, but he's up to 17th, only 17th position. And guys like William, well, maybe not Williams, because Williams is slipping back in that 95, but Keys and Hans are going to jump Parton going into our next race in Montreal, and we'll have to see how that ends up affecting who makes it in once we get down to it in less than 3 weeks from Atlanta. Duncan Ward still out front, but Daniel Paulus Jr. is still there, still with an opportunity at winning this race. Blaine Keys about 1.2 seconds off, Avery Alford 2.3 seconds off, about 3.6 seconds behind is Nathan Smith and Jack Haas.
I mean, I will say, without a caution, I mean, we saw that first run where things got really tight there towards the end of the run before Drew Webb decided that he needed to just park the bus for no reason. This, not so much. We're seeing a lot more spread out here, and it really is these top 3, I think, unless there's a Titanic scrap where the only 3 cars left in contention to win. But, I mean, shout out Duncan Ward stepping up tonight. He's put no foot wrong here. I mean, he's got 11 laps to go. He's got a very fast car behind him in Paulus, a fast car in Keys. But so far, it is so good here for Ward, and he's pulling a little bit here on these other guys on the podium.
And that's really all you got to do. It's a hard place to make a pass, especially with the tire wear. And as the tire wear gets more significant, I think it's going to be harder for these guys to make the passes. But also, if you're Duncan Ward, you got to be careful not to use the tires up too much, and guys like Paulus and Keys have an advantage later in the run. That's something that you got to think about in that regard. I'm impressed with Crampton tonight. 7th place run for him right now. Lord Chung as well. Alex Hamitella. These are all guys that were quite a ways behind that benefited from that caution. And here they are with 10 laps to go in this race, looking to get a top 10 here tonight. Matthew Hubert there in 10th. Andrew Miller down to 11th. Trey Bartow. Bernardi Oliveira in 13th. Kirsten Bell's 14th. Not really a good run for Kirsten, especially considering she won North Wilkesboro. She's just been there the whole night and has not benefited from anything that's happened. Haley Anderson Jr., uncharted driver in 15th, and Logan continues to slip back. And to your point there, Caleb, I think he got some damage from that incident. You know, he's got to be careful not to bleed too many points, because he's risking missing the chase once again, and I know you not want to see that out of your driver.
Definitely not. This has been a breakout season, honestly, for Logan Williams, and a couple of unfortunate mishaps in the past couple of races have unfortunately put him in this position. And yeah, just not a good night so far here from WWT. We still got a couple of races left to go, but like I said, at this point, he just needs to try and get what he can and cruise it along to the finish. But I'll tell you what, speaking of finish, this is heating up to be a pretty good finish up here towards the front. Nathan Smith in the 03 looking to get past. We've got a battle heating up between Nathan Smith and Jack Haas. Travis Crampton looking to try and take advantage of that potentially. But up front, Duncan Ward trying to hold off the 54 of Daniel Paulus Jr. Ward looking to potentially make a run at the regular season title. Potentially so is Paulus Jr. looking for his 5th win on the year and potentially go for that win record. Been a great season for both drivers, and I know both definitely want to try and win this race.
Looking like it's going to be a bit harder for Paulus, as Duncan Ward continues to pull away in the 23, looking for his 2nd win of the season. And he got that first win at Darlington. And when he won that race, we thought he was going to go off and win multiple races. Like we've seen now of Daniel Paulus Jr., that was not the case. But Duncan has had the upper hand here tonight at Gateway. And time is running out for Paulus and Keys and Alfred and all these guys trying to close up to him. Nathan Smith there about 5 seconds off in 5th. Crampton now up to 6th, and that's good news for Travis Crampton and his attempts to make the chase. And I know it's a bit hard for him to have lost that points lead the way that he did. But this is the kind of momentum that I know he'd like to have going into the chase here in a couple of weeks. Jack Haas slipping back even more. Laura Chung getting around him. Jackson to fall back to 8th. Then it's Sam Vitale and Hubert still in the top 10 with Andrew Miller in 11th. Paulus is not done yet. So only about a half a second between Duncan Ward and Daniel Paulus Jr. here at Gateway. But I tell you what, it's just, one mistake's all it takes. And we've seen that happen in a lot of these races. One mistake is all it takes, and Duncan Ward is not home free yet. So has 5 laps to go here at Gateway to get this race victory.
He's got 5 laps to go. He's shedding a little bit of time here, which isn't ideal. We've seen the 54 tonight can make passes. But, I mean, we talk about, setting up passes, and this is a track that, unlike, say, Michigan, where you can just go for it up the middle, you kind of need to set your passes up here. So I don't know if Paulus is going to have enough time, but Duncan has to be careful here. He's starting, you can see now, he's starting to lose some time here to this 54.
May I remind you what happened in this race 2 years ago? Nicholas Sambidio led nearly all the laps at the end. And got passed on the last lap by Drew Webb. And you know what?
Goodness.
Duncan Ward may have used up his stuff just a little bit right there as Paulus is closing right back in again. And what did Daniel do 3 days ago? You guys saw it. I showed it to you. 3 wide in the middle and past Duncan Ward. Ludovic Shred for that win in Michigan. It's a much harder place to make the pass, but he's going to go for it right here. And to the inside. Duncan's going to have the momentum on the outside, and it's 3 laps to go here at Gateway. And Duncan's going to pull away there. That was not a good exit off the corner for Paulus.
You've seen, though, that Paulus can pull up to the back bumper of the 23. Duncan might have potentially used up his stuff. We'll see if Paulus can gather it back up and maybe go for one more charge. Going to be 2 to go this time by. Avery Alford looking to potentially catch Blaine Keys there for the 3rd position. Maybe make it a double podium for Team Williams. But coming to 2 laps to go this time by. Like I said, Paulus trying to reel Ward back in for maybe one more charge here.
Only 2 laps to go for Paulus to be able to do it. Troxel is down the pit lane.
Good.
And I don't know what that was about. And Bryce Egan has also had a problem. And some of these guys... Oh, no. There's a lot of guys coming down the pit lane right here at the end of the race. They did not put enough fuel in. It's the Auto Club situation all over again. Further back in the field, our race leaders are not coming down the pit lane. And these are drivers further back in the standings. Oh, you got Laura Chung. She didn't put enough fuel in. And there they go. In the wall goes Jack Haas and Sam Vitale. And it's a complete mess here at Gateway as the caution will fly with the white flag being displayed. And Duncan Ward is going to win this race. Oh my goodness, like I said, just like it was at Auto Club earlier in the season. Remember how that one when we had drivers who could not make it to the end. This is going to shuffle everything up throughout the field. And Jack Haas is destroyed in the 39 machine. Because Laura Chung trying to come down the pit lane. She did not have a good entry into the corner. And that was...
oh, they got to be careful.
They do have to be careful right here.
Oh
no.
Oh no!
Zayden Davison into his teammate of Avery Alford. Alford will retain the position. Not sure what those guys were doing right there. But the battle for the win going to end a lap early, and Duncan Ward going to get his 2nd win of the season, just like he got the 1st win. A caution coming out late in the going. Paulus will finish 2nd. Blaine Keys, Avery Alford, Nathan Smith, Travis Crampton, Andrew Miller, Trey Bartow, Logan Williams, and Alex Vitale was caught up in the accident. Will finish in 10th. Leonard Kochmer, Darian Arnsdorf, Brian Webb, Bruno Diacomo, LJ Sameto, Justin Zaidel. Some of these guys still finishing the race because that caution came out while some guys were on different lap counts than others. Absolute mess at the end right there, but the battle for the win was not affected by that, other than it being a lap shorter than what it could have been. Well, that was certainly a race there at the end. And drivers who did not have enough fuel. Laura's really the only one that was up front that came down the pit lane at the end there, and then Jack Haas got taken out because of all that. That is such a tough break for Jack, who's going to fall back even further. He was the pole sitter of this race. And I know he's not going to be happy about that one. Kirsten Bell also, Nicholas Samadillo had to come down the pit lane. A lot of guys in the back of the field there did not get enough fuel in the tank for the end of that race. Tanner Parton also got caught up in an accident as well. He actually had hit the attenuator. That's going to send him further back. I tell you what, it's like a D-World Cup Series race here. No offense to Joe. If you saw the Coca-Cola 600 in the D-World Cup Series, you know what I'm talking about. No offense to Joe. Those guys do a great job. Duncan Ward, though, won that outright. No shenanigans. He earned that win. And he's got his second win of the season. Paul is finishing second. Blaine Keys finishing third. Avery Alford finishing fourth is going to benefit from all that happened there. What on earth was this race here? And should we have any more midweek races in the Wawa Cup Series? Because they're always completely wild and crazy.
Listen, the last time we did this was at Hillside, and for the most part, this is a pretty tame race until that happened, but the next midweek race is at Homestead, so surely nothing could go wrong there.
That's a Sunday race, it's not a midweek race.
Oh no, wait, Daytona's the oh no.
Daytona's Friday night, Homestead's Sunday, so it's not really midweek there.
Double weekend, but nothing went wrong for Duncan Ward tonight. Great run for him. Him and Paulus back-to-back 1-2s flipping around. I still will say, I said this after Darlington, I like that 23. Like, I don't know if his car is quite good enough, but he shows up at times where he is so fast. I'm like, he gets back to Darlington. If he's in the fight late in the season and goes to Darlington, we saw what he did there the first time. I mean, that's a championship caliber drive by Duncan Ward tonight.
Definitely a great drive out of Duncan Ward. Definitely earned that one, despite all the crazy shenanigans that might have happened towards the end. Yeah, tough break for everybody that was caught up in that, including the 39 of Jack Haas, who's really going to get pummeled down the order from that one. And Alex Sanvitali also kind of taking the heel there as well. But just overall a crazy race here from Gateway. A lot of pretty crazy incidents here tonight. And shout out to the midweek races, I guess. They always produce some very, very zany stuff.
Yeah. I don't know what happened at the end there. But I tell you what, ain't a Wawa Cup Series race without something crazy happening. Biggest loser from that whole incident would be Samadillo and Parton. Laura Chung, she's going to lose about 10 spots from that, but nothing too drastic for her case and to make the chase. Kirsten Bell and Jack Haas as well also did not benefit from that, but it's part of the strategy. That is a pit crew rating that the owners do, and that is part of it, and some of these guys just didn't do it correctly. And we were right on the cusp right there, and that caution coming out midway through. We thought we'd be perfectly fine, and our race leaders for the most part were fine. But the guys in the back were not. This is going to change things up again in the championship standings, especially around the wildcard battle and in the race to the chase. Blaine Keys and Avery Alford are going to move up in the standings. Alford did an excellent job in this race, earning that fourth place finish, which he almost lost because of his teammate Zayden Davidson. Thankfully he didn't and still finished fourth, but I tell you, that was a wild turn of events there at the end of that race, and really Jack Haas is the one that's going to end up falling back because of it, and that's going to benefit guys like Sam Vitale, who's still going to get a good finish out of this one in 10th. Logan Williams benefited from that finishing 9th. He should jump back in, jumping Parton. But we'll have to see, because, Keys and Haas and Alfred, they're all going to still be up there. There's only 10 spots to make it in, and a lot of these guys are pretty solidly in the chase at this point. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you thought this race is crazy, wait until we get to Montreal on Saturday. That's going to be a lot of fun for our second road course of the season, and we're going to see a different cast of characters up front in that race as well, for the Tim Hortons Canadian Grand Prix. And then after that, it's Pocono and Atlanta. Only 3 races remain until the chase cutoff, and it's going to get really crazy as we move on throughout the rest of this season. Thank you so much for watching here on a Tuesday night. Hope you all enjoyed that race, regardless of the shenanigans at the end. Of course, if you're Jack Haas or Sam Adio or any of those guys who came down the pit lane at the end, you're probably not too happy about that. But if you're Duncan Ward, you're happy about this one. You finally got one on Daniel that you lost a couple days ago, and now you're even. So we'll have to see how it ends up shaking out the rest of the season. Thank you so much for watching once again. Huge thanks to Matt Tuck and Caleb Rose for joining me here tonight here at Gateway. And we'll see you guys on Saturday for the Tim Hortons Canadian Grand Prix in Montreal. Here are the point standings for the Wawa Cup Series after 19 races. Congratulations to Duncan Ward. and I will see you guys later.